Orcas hunt great white sharks. They take down seals with ease. They can even wear out a blue whale, the largest animal on Earth, and drag it beneath the surface. They are fast, smart, and incredibly organized. Most animals in the ocean have only two choices when an orcapod shows up: run or die. But one animal doesn't follow that rule: the sperm whale. It's smaller than a blue whale. It's slower than an orca. And honestly, it doesn't look built for a fight. Its body is heavy. Its head is strangely oversized. It seems like the kind of animal an orcapod should be able to overwhelm. But when the attack begins, the sperm whale doesn't keep running. It slows down. Then it turns around. And in that moment, the entire situation changes. Now the orcas have to ask themselves a very different question. Is one meal really worth a shattered rib, severe internal damage, or a blow that could end the hunt for good? Because the sperm whale isn't helpless. It has a tail powerful enough to break bone, a massive head that can hit like a battering ram, a body protected by thick blubber, and if the fight goes badly, it can disappear into depths where orcas can't safely follow. So why can orcas bring down animals far larger than a sperm whale, yet often hesitate when they meet one? The answer isn't just about size. It's about what happens when prey stops acting like prey. The easiest answer is usually the first one people think of. Maybe orcas avoid sperm whales because they're just too big. Honestly, that sounds reasonable at first. An adult female sperm whale can grow to around 40 to 50 feet long and weigh somewhere between 33 and 50 tons. That's an incredible amount of weight. Now look at an average orca. Most weigh only about 7 to 9 tons. That means a single sperm whale can outweigh one orca several times over. For almost any predator, that's a dangerous matchup. One mistake is all it takes. A single powerful hit could break bones, cause serious internal injuries, or leave the hunter unable to hunt again. In the wild, even a small injury can become a death sentence. So it's easy to assume that size is the whole story. But that idea falls apart when you look at what orcas do to blue whales. Blue whales are much bigger than sperm whales. A full-grown blue whale can reach nearly 100 feet in length and weigh more than 200 tons. That's roughly 4 times heavier than even a large sperm whale. Yet orcas still go after them. They don't rush in blindly. They hunt as a team, stay patient, and slowly wear the giant down until it has nothing left to give. That changes everything. If orcas are willing to attack an animal that weighs more than 200 tons, then a 50-ton sperm whale shouldn't seem impossible. So clearly, size isn't what makes orcas hesitate. The real difference isn't how big the prey is. It's what that prey does the moment the attack begins. And that's where sperm whales completely change the rules. To understand why sperm whales are different, you first have to see how orcas normally hunt. Take a blue whale, for example. Its entire body is built for speed. It's long, streamlined, and designed to keep moving in a straight line through open water. When danger shows up, its first instinct is simple: run. That's exactly what orcas expect. But they never try to win with one long chase. Instead, they hunt like a relay team. One group stays close behind the whale, keeping the pressure on and forcing it to keep swimming. Meanwhile, another group hangs back, saving energy. After a while, they switch places. The fresh group takes over while the tired group recovers. The blue whale never gets a real chance to rest. At the same time, some orcas slam into the whale's sides or climb onto its back. They're not trying to knock it over. They're making every stroke harder. Every extra pound of drag forces the whale to burn more oxygen and more energy just to keep moving. Hour after hour, that huge body becomes its biggest weakness. Little by little, the whale slows down. Its muscles get tired. Its oxygen runs low. Eventually, it doesn't have enough strength left to fight back. That's when the orcas make their final move. Instead of simply biting, they surround the exhausted whale and stop it from reaching the surface to breathe. Once that happens, the outcome is almost inevitable. The largest animal on Earth doesn't lose. because it's weak. It loses because it can't keep running forever. That's how orcas win. Not by being stronger, by forcing their prey into a race they were never going to finish. Here's the biggest difference between a blue whale and a sperm whale. A blue whale tries to escape. A sperm whale doesn't. The reason is actually pretty simple. Sperm whales were never built for long, high-speed chases. Their bodies are designed for something completely different. Instead of racing across the surface, they're built to dive thousands of feet into the deep ocean. Their normal cruising speed is only around 4 miles per hour. Even if they push themselves, they're still nowhere near as fast as an orca. In a straight chase, they know they're going to lose. And somehow, that's exactly why they don't run. Instead of wasting energy trying to outrun a predator that's faster, the sperm whale makes a completely different choice. It slows down, it stops, then it turns to face the orcas. That one decision changes everything. The entire hunting strategy of an orca pod depends on keeping its prey moving. They want the chase to last. They want their target to burn energy, use up oxygen, and slowly wear itself out. But what happens when the prey refuses to keep running? The chase is over before it even begins. Now the orcas have to deal with something they weren't planning for. A whale that's fully rested. A whale that's standing its ground. A whale that's ready to fight instead of flee. Suddenly, every move becomes much more dangerous. There's no exhausted animal to wear down. No easy opening to take advantage of. Every second they stay close increases the risk of getting hit. And for an orca, getting seriously injured isn't just painful. It can mean the end. A broken rib, damaged organs, or even a deep wound could leave it unable to hunt for weeks. In the wild, that can easily become a death sentence. That's why predators don't just respect strength. They respect unpredictability. And nothing is more dangerous than prey that refuses to behave like prey. The sperm whale doesn't try to win by being faster. It wins by refusing to fight the battle on the predator's terms. Once a sperm whale decides not to run, the real danger becomes obvious. And that danger comes from both ends of its body. Let's start with the tail. A sperm whale's tail isn't just big. It's packed with muscle. One full force strike carries an incredible amount of power. A direct hit can break ribs, cause serious internal injuries, or leave an orca too badly hurt to keep hunting. For an animal that depends on hunting almost every day, that's a huge risk. Even if an orca survives the impact, a major injury can mean weeks without food. In the wild, that's sometimes all it takes to die. But the tail is only half the problem. The front of the sperm whale is just as intimidating. If you've ever looked at one, you've probably noticed how unusual its head is. Nearly 1/3 of its entire body length is made up of that massive, block-shaped head. Most people know sperm whales have the largest brain of any animal, but the brain itself takes up only a small part of that space. The rest is filled by the spermaceti organ, a huge chamber containing thousands of liters of specialized oil. One scientific theory suggests this structure may help the whale absorb and deliver powerful impacts during collisions. While researchers continue to study exactly how it works, the possibility alone helps explain why predators are so cautious. History gives us an unforgettable example. In 1820, the American whaling ship Essex reportedly sank after being rammed by an agitated male sperm whale. The ship was built from thick oak and designed to survive the open ocean, yet the collision was devastating enough to become one of the most famous stories in maritime history and later inspired Moby Dick. Now imagine replacing that wooden ship with an orca. No matter how fast or intelligent an orca is, its body is still made of bone, muscle, and flesh. A direct collision from an animal weighing around 50 tons is not something any predator wants to gamble on. That's why approaching a sperm whale is dangerous from every direction. Get too close behind, and the tail becomes a weapon. Come in from the front, and that massive head could turn into a battering ram. For an orca, there are no easy angles of attack, and that's exactly what makes the sperm whale such a difficult opponent. Orcas are smart hunters. Whenever they go after large whales, they usually don't attack the strongest adult first. They look for the weakest target. Most of the time, That's the calf. A young whale is smaller, slower, and much easier to separate from its mother. Once that happens, the rest of the hunt becomes much simpler. That strategy works against many whale species, but sperm whales don't make it that easy. Female sperm whales live in extremely close family groups. They're always watching out for one another, especially when there's a calf nearby. The moment danger appears, the entire pod reacts almost instantly. Every adult knows exactly where to go. The calves are moved into the center. The adult females form a tight circle around them. Their heads point inward, their tails face outward. This defensive formation is known as the marguerite or daisy formation, and it's one of the most impressive examples of teamwork in the ocean. From the outside, an orca doesn't see one whale anymore. It sees a wall of powerful tails. Every adult in that circle is ready to strike. One swing can deliver enough force to seriously injure an orca. And because the attacks can come from every direction, getting close becomes incredibly dangerous. The calves are no longer exposed. They're protected behind a living shield. For the orcas, there's no easy path through that defense. To reach a calf, they would have to push through several fully grown sperm whales that are standing together instead of running away. That's a fight most pods would rather avoid. This is why sperm whales are so difficult to hunt. It's not just because one whale is dangerous. It's because an entire family fights as one. And when every member is willing to defend the group, even one of the ocean's greatest predators has to stop and think twice before making its next move. But what happens if a sperm whale is completely alone? No family, no defensive circle, no one to help. It still has one last advantage. It goes down. Way down. This is where the fight changes completely. Orcas are incredible swimmers. They're fast, agile, and perfectly built for hunting near the surface. But they're still air-breathing mammals. They have to come back up for oxygen, and while they can dive hundreds of meters, they can't stay deep for very long. A sperm whale lives in a different world. Deep diving isn't a backup plan. It's what it was built to do. These whales regularly dive thousands of feet below the surface in search of giant squid. Down there, sunlight disappears. The pressure becomes crushing. It's an environment that very few animals can handle. For a sperm whale, it's just another hunting trip. Its body is designed for that kind of depth. It can stay underwater far longer than an orca and keep functioning in conditions that would push most marine mammals to their limits. So when an orcapod starts getting too close, a lone sperm whale doesn't have to stand there and fight forever. It simply heads straight into the deep. The orcas can try to follow, but every extra foot makes the situation worse for them. The deeper they go, the greater the pressure becomes. Oxygen runs low, their bodies are pushed closer to their limits, and staying down too long becomes dangerous. Sooner or later, they have to turn back. The sperm whale doesn't. It keeps going until it reaches a place where the orcas simply can't stay. That's what makes this strategy so effective. The sperm whale doesn't have to overpower the orcas. It doesn't even have to chase them away. It only has to move the fight into an environment where it has every advantage and the predators have almost none. Sometimes the safest place isn't where you're strongest. It's where your enemy can't survive long enough to keep fighting. Up to this point, we've mostly talked about female sperm whales protecting their calves, but adult males are a completely different story. They're in a league of their own. The size difference between males and females is huge. An adult female usually weighs around 16 tons, but a fully grown male can reach well over 60 tons and grow to about 60 to 65 feet long. That's an enormous animal. What's even more interesting is how they live. Unlike the females, adult males usually spend much of their lives alone. They don't rely on a defensive circle. They don't need a group standing beside them. If trouble shows up, they're expected to handle it themselves, and they're built for exactly that. These whales hunt giant squid deep beneath the surface, in one of the harshest environments on Earth. They're active predators, not gentle filter feeders. That's a big difference. Think about a blue whale for a second. A blue whale is massive, but it's peaceful. It spends its life filtering tiny shrimp from the water. In a way, it's like a huge cargo ship. It's full of resources, but it isn't designed to fight back. A male sperm whale is the complete opposite. It's more like a heavily armored battleship. It's enormous, powerful, equipped with large teeth, and completely capable of defending itself if it has to. Fighting dangerous prey is already part of its life, so standing up to another predator isn't something entirely new. Orcas understand that. They're incredibly intelligent hunters, and every hunt is a risk calculation. They don't just look at how much food they might gain. They also think about what it could cost them. A healthy adult male sperm whale can hit back with tremendous force, and the consequences of making one mistake could be devastating. That's why size alone doesn't explain the hesitation. The real question is whether the prey is willing and able to fight back. When that prey is an adult male sperm whale, the answer is usually yes, and that's exactly why most orcas would rather keep their distance than find out the hard way. Even if an orca decides the risk is worth taking, there's still another problem waiting for it. Actually hurting a sperm whale isn't nearly as easy as it sounds. One of the biggest reasons is its blubber. A sperm whale is covered by a thick layer of blubber that can reach around 14 inches, or about 35 centimeters. That's an incredible amount of protection wrapped around almost its entire body. Now compare that to an orca's teeth. According to the video, they're roughly 4 inches long. You can probably see the problem already. A bite that looks terrifying on the outside often doesn't reach anything truly vital. Most of the damage stays in the outer layer instead of reaching major blood vessels or important internal organs. That completely changes the fight. Instead of ending the battle quickly, the orcas have to keep biting over and over again. They have to leave hundreds, maybe even thousands, of small wounds, hoping the whale slowly loses enough blood and energy to finally give up. That takes time, sometimes a lot of time, and every extra minute comes with more risk. While the orcas are trying to wear the whale down, the sperm whale isn't standing still. It's swinging its powerful tail, turning its massive head toward the attackers, or simply diving into deeper water where the orcas can't safely follow. The longer the fight lasts, the more the advantage starts shifting. What looked like an easy target becomes an exhausting battle that costs huge amounts of energy and creates more chances for serious injury. For an orca, that's a terrible trade. The reward stays the same, but the danger keeps growing. In the end, that's what makes sperm whales such difficult prey. It's not just that they're big, they're built to survive long enough to make every attack far more expensive than most predators are willing to pay. There's one last piece of this story that makes everything else easier to understand. Sperm whales didn't develop these defenses because of orcas. According to the video, they inherited them from a much older and far more dangerous world. Millions of years ago, during the Miocene, the oceans were filled with predators that were even more terrifying than anything alive today. Among them was the megalodon, a giant shark that could grow to incredible sizes, and Leviathan melville, an ancient relative of the sperm whale that hunted other large whales with massive teeth. Compared to those animals, modern orcas were a much smaller threat. The video suggests that surviving in an ocean like that shaped the sperm whale into what it is today. Its body became thick and incredibly durable. Its skeleton grew denser and better able to absorb powerful impacts. Instead of depending on speed, it evolved to withstand punishment. Its social behavior changed too, living in close family groups, protecting calves together, and standing their ground instead of panicking weren't random behaviors. They became survival strategies that worked over countless generations. Every encounter helped shape the next one. Over millions of years, those instincts became deeply rooted. That's why sperm whales react so differently from many other large whales. When danger appears, they don't immediately fall apart or rush to escape. They stay together, they defend each other, and if they have to fight, they do. From the video's perspective, that's what orcas are really facing. They're not just approaching another large whale. They're confronting an animal whose entire body and behavior were shaped by surviving an ancient ocean filled with predators far more brutal than the ones we see today. That history still shows in everything the sperm whale does. Its strength, its patience, It's teamwork. Even the way it refuses to panic. In the end, the sperm whale wasn't built specifically to defeat orcas. It was built to survive a world that demanded far more. And because of that, today's top predator often finds itself facing an opponent that has already been preparing for battles like this for millions of years.